Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Karting with Chris. Today is the TSRS Winter Roundup NOLA race, something along those lines. I'm not quite sure what the name is, but we are in New Orleans. We had a pretty nice drive up here. It was 8 hours to get here, but we made it. Just gonna get rid of all my driver excuses right off the bat. So I am running the most top speed I can, sprocket wise. I brought all the gears I had, but it still wasn't enough. So you'll notice down the straights I'll have 0 top speed compared to everyone else, but in the corners I can keep up pretty well. But top speed is everything on this track. You can gain at least half a second by having just one tooth lower than someone else. So that's my main excuse. My other excuse is qualifying. I'm starting in 24th. And the reason I'm starting in 24th is during qualifying, my axle slid out because one of my screws on the axle fell out and it caused it to slide to the left. And then my chain wasn't aligned, and then my brakes were rubbing on the brake pads. So yeah, wasn't a very good start, but we are here and we're just going to make the best out of this. Starting 24th out of 25th, person in 25th's chain fell off during qualifying, so at least beat one person. But we're going down the straight here, and the aim is to just play it safe at the beginning. We're just gonna, because we don't know what these people are like, so we're gonna play it safe at the beginning, back off through the first corner, and we see number 679. We passed them, so we already gained one position. And we see ahead my brother right here. He's getting a lot of contact, and people were just bumping and banging into him. So going into this next corner up here, I don't know all the corners by number. We're still in 23rd. We've only really passed one person. The person in 25th passed us. They're the number 619 up ahead. I tapped my helmet telling my brother, let's work together, as I dive on the inside of that guy back there. There's still a bunch of jumbled up people. This track is very wide, so you can go side by side through almost every corner. Going through turn 10, I think this is. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And then going through these corners right here, these are all flat out. And I'm going to try and pass this person in, not this corner. This corner's not the real best passing spot. But the corner after this one right here, this is where I'm going to go for the move on the number 619 cart. So this is really easy to pass. The racing line is you turn in really late, but to pass them, you just dive on the inside. As we look behind me, the person behind me just takes out my brother and just completely wipes them out. And we're going to have a look at that one more time. So I don't know any of these drivers by name, so just bear with me. So the guy in the blue suit goes on my left side, and we can see I'm looking behind me, and then all of a sudden there's a bit of contact, and then the person behind me just wipes out Ben. Now, I've analyzed this so many times. We can't see what's on my left or my right, but I think someone bumped into me, and then the person behind overreacted or something and bumped into Ben. If it was my fault, I take total responsibility for it. But, based off of that camera angle, it's kind of hard to say what happened on my other side. But that's in the past. Everyone's okay. Ben's spindle almost broke, but it was basically toast. It was totally unusable. So he had to get a new one. I think the other person's axle bent, but everyone's physically okay. Mentally, who knows? I'm not them. But we're going to chug on. We got 608 in front of us, and that is our next target. And hopefully, they don't take us out. So ahead of 608 is Mackenzie and Colton. Now, Colton, I know, is running a different gear than me, so I know he's going to pull away. As I dive on the inside of 608, I did back off going through this first corner up here. This was just me telling him, hey, bud, I'm right behind you, and if you make any mistakes, I'm going to pass you. So that is me warning him, be careful, I'm here. So like I was saying earlier, there is Mackenzie and Colton ahead of us, and I'd like to catch up to them because they were very quick this day. As we see the 608 going very wide into that last corner, he's still beside me. I get the over-under on him. Again, this track is crazy wide, going through this chicane or whatever you want to call it, and we have now gotten the move, and now we're going to try and catch up to Colton and Mackenzie, but they have pulled away a lot. So that guy's one mistake cost him that position, and you can see we are already pulling away from him, and I guess I must have pressured him into a lot, but that's racing. You got to show them that you're there and really force them into a mistake rather than you being the one making mistakes. So going into this last corner right here, I'm going to show you what I think is a fast lap. Please tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I was struggling for pace. So through the first corner, semi-lift, but then back on the throttle. This is considered a chicane, although there is no such thing as track limits here except for the grass, so you can absolutely murder those curbs or whatever you want to call them. And then down here, hitting the rev limiter almost halfway down. And then these corners right here are full throttle. Takes a little bit of guts, but they are full throttle. Tiny lift through here, and then these are also full throttle. Again, through here, full throttle, taking all of the exits. And then through here is yet another chicane, but again, absolutely abusing track limits. And then going through this turn up here, again, just a tiny bit of brakes. On this track, you don't use the brakes too often. This section is full throttle. I might be lifting more than others because I am running a higher sprocket compared to others, and so I have more acceleration and less top end. Through this corner right here, again, just a little lift. And then going through here, if there's someone behind you, don't turn wide, but if there is nobody behind you, take the normal racing line. Use all of the track exit and then cross the finish line, and that is what I think a good lap is. Please tell me if I'm doing something completely wrong, because although this isn't my home track, I do like to know what I am doing right and wrong. So as you can see at this point, people have pulled away from us, and we're going to skip ahead to end of lap 7, start of lap 8, because this is where I noticed I was starting to catch up to Mackenzie. Now, all weekend, Mackenzie was actually doing pretty strong. At NTK, usually I can beat her, but here she was really strong. So I was surprised I was catching up to her. So we're going to try and catch up to her, see if she's making any mistakes, and learn from where her mistakes are, and see if we can capitalize off of her mistakes. Drinking game for how many times I just said mistakes, but who's counting? So down the straights, I noticed she had more top end. So that's somewhere we know that if we do catch up to her, the move through the straight is probably not going to happen. So on the straights, we got to nail that first corner, stay in her draft as long as possible before she pulls away from us. Now through this infield section, or stadium section, whatever you want to call it, this is where I'm noticing I'm catching up the most. But these last couple of corners right here, watch this, we catch up to her a lot through this corner right up here. So we go and hold a straight line, turn in nice and late, track out all the way, abuse those track limits, and we are slowly catching up to her. I think the people in front of her are not within reach, as we can see her sliding a bit through the first corner. But we are on the second to last lap, so it is passing time. She looks like she's going semi-defensive. Don't quite know why she was doing that. She hasn't really looked behind her, so I don't think she knows I'm there, which is a really good thing for me, because I can give the surprise attack. Because it is the last couple of laps, as you can see we're catching up to her, and if she doesn't know I'm there, I can send it, but if she does know I'm there, she can block. So we're going to try and send it into the next couple of corners. So coming through turn 10, I think this one is, again, correct me if I'm wrong, we can see she's kind of all over the place. There must be something wrong with her cart. So we're going to go for the move on the very last corner. We're going to send it up because, it's kind of the perfect place if they don't know you're there, because they're going to take the normal racing line and then they just leave the inside wide open. So here's the last corner right up here. We're going to send it on the inside. she sees us, she doesn't bang into us, and now we have passed her. And I talked to her after the race as we were on the last lap. I talked to her after the race, and she said that her balaclava was in her eyes. So that's why she's kind of all over the place. As we look behind me, she is in my draft and slowly pulling up towards me. So on this straight, I thought for sure she was going to pass me, because at this point, I don't know, she can't see. But she was pushing me down the straights, and we're going to switch it to forward-facing camera right here. I did start pulling away from her after the straights. I don't blame her. I don't wear a balaclava because of stuff like that. I know my brother's gone through that before. I know many other people have gone through that before. And it's a real tragedy. But, that's racing. I'll take any position. But we're on the last lap. There's no one in front of us to pass unless someone gets a penalty. There is someone behind us, but we have pulled away from them. We're going through the last corner, and it's looking like we got 19th out of 25. So, not the worst result considering we started in 24th. So we gained 5 positions, so not bad. Now on the cool down lap, what you were supposed to do and what I didn't do was you drive on the outside of the corners where all the rubber collects, as I give Mackenzie a little fist bump here. You're supposed to drive on the outside and collect all that rubber so your cart weighs more. And I'm going to tell you, when I went into the weigh station, I was half a pound underweight. So I got disqualified for this race. So that was a real downer. But, if I have a good race, I don't really care because I'm not going for points in this thing. I'm just going for fun. But that's all I have for today. If you liked the video, please subscribe. If you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, please comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.